The 2021 NFL Draft is nigh, blessed clarity awaiting as screens of smoke dissipate and the San Francisco 49ers finally go on the clock. The Jags and NYJ already turned in their cards, right? To end weeks of mystery and speculation. All in hopes that we're a live Sunday, after SF coach Kyle Shanahan cast doubt upon that, too, to hyperanalyze the Niners' decisions and those of the league's 31 other teams. Load a strong case to be made that they should take an offensive tackle in the aftermath of the ACL injury that prematurely ended 2020 number 1 pick Joe Burrow's rookie season. But an equally compelling case to reunite Burrow with his main weapon from LSU's 2019 title team, when Chase established himself as the best wideout in college football. Widely regarded as the premier receiver in this draft, Chase's built-in chemistry with Burrow could take this offense up a few notches given what Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, both very capable targets themselves, already provide. Also, worth wondering if Atlanta eyes Chase if Jones is offloaded. Since losing their grip on the AFC East for the first time since 2008, the Pats have aggressively retooled their roster with free agents. The long-term post-Brady QB plan remains a mystery. Cam Newton is only signed for this season, but the philosophical offensive shift toward a player of Newton's abilities suggests Bill Belichick and OC Josh McDaniels might target a successor with similar attributes. Fields is dynamic, mobile and probably more accurate than Newton and could be a steal here. Even if Belichick has to part with a day 2 pick, and maybe more, to get up to this spot, Darnold will be wowed by the firepower surrounding him in Charlotte. But if the Panthers want to help their new QB finally reach his professional potential, bolstering his protection seems like the most sensible approach. Slater fills a gaping void on the blind side and should widen the holes all-pro RB Christian McCaffrey is accustomed to seeing. A year after losing Byron Jones in free agency, they still need a number 1 corner as they reload the defense for new coordinator Dan Quinn. Horn has steadily risen throughout the process and should bring swagger and playmaking to Quinn's unit just as Richard Sherman did in Seattle. If the Giants are going to avoid doing to third-year QB Daniel Jones what the Jets did to Darnold, namely, failing to put players around him, then they need to strongly consider an explosive talent like Waddle, who can also elevate the return game. Even RB Saquon Barkley will love this pick considering how Waddle could open up the field for him. The son of a former 3-time Pro Bowler, Certain seems like one of the surest bets in this draft, technically sound and willing to put his hat into the fray to support the run. And Philly needs reinforcements on the corners even if Darius Slay bounces back in 2021. Another blocker to protect offensive Rookie of the Year Justin Herbert would be sensible, though the Bolts shored up the O-line in free agency. But with Smith available in this scenario, the value is too good to pass up. Teaming him with Herbert and Keenan Allen should only take this attack to another level. And such a move could also give the club financial flexibility if it chose to release Mike Williams from a 5th-year option that will pay him $15.7 million. Despite their pass rush needs, another instance of opting for the best player on the board. Whether he's deployed at guard or tackle, where the Trojans used him in 2020, Vera Tucker bolsters a ragged line that allowed 39 sacks in 2020 before it cut ties with veteran Lieutenant Riley Reef. Plenty of gaps to plug amid an ongoing roster shakeup. But after dealing down with New England in this projection, probably best to address a shaky cornerback depth chart after number 3 pick Jeff Okudah struggled as a rookie in 2020 while Desmond Trufant was released. Farley is arguably the most talented corner in this class, though a pair of back surgeries have cast a shadow on his stock. Still, he might be a wise long-term investment for a team in rebuild mode and in a division where you can't have enough good DBs when you're trying to beat Aaron Rodgers twice a year. They could address the offensive line after GM Mike Mayock traded away 60% of it. They could address the defensive line, even after Mayock signed Yannick Ngakoue, but dumped Morris Hurst, Arden Key and Malik Collins. But Owusu Koramoah could fill an entirely different role, a dynamic, 3-down chess piece at the second level. And the type of player who could be a headache for Herbert and Mahomes for years to come. Miami's offseason, including its trade of Deshaun Lawson and release of OLB Kyle Van Noy, are indicative that the pass rush still needs significant work. Staying local to bring in a QB hunter like Phillips could be a boon to a franchise with a mandate to target Bills star Josh Allen if they're going to dethrone the AFC East Choms. If he doesn't go to San Francisco at number 3, as long rumored, Jones might be waiting a while to hear his name called. But the WFT could consider such a free fall a gift at a time when they're patching the position with the likes of Ryan Fitzpatrick, Taylor Heinicke and Kyle Allen. Jones could likely step in as the starter immediately, if asked, and wouldn't have to do much more than distribute and protect the ball to give the defensively oriented NFC East Choms a great shot at a playoff return. Barring a hard-to-execute maneuver for a young passer, even targeting Jones likely wouldn't represent a significant upgrade from Andy Dalton. Probably best to address the cornerback position after the team was forced to make Kyle Fuller a cap casualty. Anthony Castonzo's retirement leaves a vacancy at left tackle for an otherwise stalwart line. Barring a veteran acquisition or shuffling all-pro LG Quentin Nelson outside, the path of least resistance might be drafting reliable Darisaw and leaving the other 4 starters in place. Got a bubble-wrap new QB Carson Wentz after he was sacked a league-high 50 times, in just 12 games, and eventually fell apart. Davis's 4.37 speed and 42-inch vertical are indicative of the athleticism he could inject into this lacking linebacking group, part of a defense that struggled in just about every area last season even though this team excels at ball control. Running back and O-line could be strong considerations here, though the NYJ could address either spot with pick number 34. But the Jets are decades removed from their famed New York sack exchange, and must finally revitalize this pass rush. And given what he accomplished in San Francisco, new coach Robert Saleh might be the guy who finally dials up the pressure. If given horses like pay to team with free agent DeCarl Lawson and DT Quinnen Williams. Their blocking issues are apparent following the retirement of C. Morkiche Pouncey and defection of G. Matt Filer, Chargers. Unsigned Lieutenant Alejandro Villanueva also seems like a goner. But this is a team that hasn't run the ball effectively for a decade, and ranked last in the league in 2020, which might explain why the Steelers are 10 years removed from their last Super Bowl trip. Harris is the type of runner this city adores, yet he'd also protect declining QB Ben Roethlisberger as a blocker and outlet receiver. Not to mention the fact that effectively keeping the ball on the ground eases the load on Big Ben's 39-year-old right arm. At 6'3", 274 pounds, Boogie would give the Jags needed D-line depth. And his bigger frame could nicely complement wispier edge rushes Josh Allen and Kalavon Chasen on passing downs. Very few issues with this lineup, though corner depth could be improved, especially after the recent addition of pass rusher Jadeveon Clowney. But the 6'4", 260-pound Collins could level up Cleveland's linebacker core with his freakish athleticism and ability to affect all 3 downs as a run stuffer or in coverage, where he shines. They need to restore edge rush after saying goodbye to Matt Judon and Nakue in free agency. Ojulari, who averaged nearly a sack per game in 2020, looks like the best 3 to 4 linebacker this year. A locker room leader and relentless worker, he should also dovetail with the culture. He can play out wide, in the slot and even provide some wingback duties. A pretty nice package and complement to Michael Thomas for a team that could use a number 2 receiver after letting Emmanuel Sanders go. He seems to be rebounding nicely from knee surgery and should be a starter in this league for a decade, a nifty fit for a team that couldn't retain All-Pro C. Corey Linsley to protect Rodgers. The reigning AFC East Choms don't need much but could certainly get younger and more productive when it comes to their pass rush, where Sean McDermott has had to become increasingly, and uncharacteristically, reliant on blitzes. Russo was the Atlantic Coast Conference Defensive Rookie of the Year after recording 15.5 sacks in 2019 before opting out in 2020 as his mother, a nurse, battled COVID-19 from the front lines at Florida Medical Center. The year away didn't benefit Russo, who was overshadowed by Phillips at the Hurricanes Pro Day. Yet his intelligence, instincts, production and ability to rush from the interior on nickel packages should make him a welcome asset. *****.